Hey there guys, it's Tony. I'm going to show you some of the supplies that you're going to need to do acrylic pour painting. The first thing you should get is one of these plastic drop cloth things. You can get them at the hardware store, you can get them at Walmart, any place. They come in really handy. This stuff is really messy. It gets all over very quickly, so the last thing you want to have to do is worry about making a mess when you're doing these. Measuring tools, depending on how much you're going to use. I don't like to mix up a lot ahead of time, simply because I don't want it to dry out quickly on me. I use tablespoons, and I use a quarter cup or half cup or whatever, depending on how much I think I'm going to need. If I do have extra paint left over after I do a pour, I just simply put it in a prescription bottle with a lid on it, and as long as it stays sealed, it doesn't really dry out. You're going to need rubber gloves, because this stuff again is very messy when you're doing it. You're going to need treadmill lubricant. It doesn't matter what brand you get, as long as it's treadmill 100% silicone lubricant. You're going to need a medicine dropper to put the silicone in, and if you need to add water, then I suggest using a medicine dropper instead of just putting a bunch of water in there, because if you get too much water in it, it will crack. You're going to need, I use just the cheapy plastic knives. You can buy those at Walmart, or you can get them at your craft stores. And I bought a whole set of them, and I think it only cost me like maybe $5 for the whole set. Another thing I have is straws, because some of the stuff that I have you can blow with the straws, and it keeps it more refined to one area instead of just blowing on the whole thing and making it spread out. Sometimes I use this canvas pad. It's really nice. You pull it out in sheets. It's almost like sheets of paper, only it's canvas. Dixie cups. These come in a variety of sizes. This size here is a little bit bigger than the other. Sometimes I get the smaller ones for like the same amount. They're only like $1 for a package if you go to the dollar store or whatever to get them. You're going to need those to mix your paint in. I also sometimes use these for mixing paint or storing the paint. And you just put the lid on there, and it keeps your paint from drying out. I strongly suggest you to use craft sticks for stirring, simply because when you put those in the cup, when you're stirring and you just leave them sitting in the cup, it doesn't flip your whole cup over. If you try using plastic spoons or paint brushes or whatever, then a lot of times your cup will flip over and you'll make a mess. Another thing I bought was these cheapy pans at like the dollar store to kind of catch the paint. As you can see, they're well used. The paint peels right off of them, so you can use these skins for making jewelry or whatever. I also use egg cartons. What I do is I just cut this piece off the egg carton, and then I lay my project flat on here. Then that way my project's not sticking to this surface or the table or whatever. It's up off the table enough where it's getting air and it's not sticking to stuff. Paint, I use Craft Smart or whatever happens to be on sale. I find that if you use these bottles of paint, you don't need to add water. If you use the tubes of paint, you will need to add a little water because your consistency will be too thick and it won't want to spread well for you. I also use Floetrol. This is what I use for my medium. It's a lot cheaper than trying to buy the pouring medium for acrylics, and it works just as well. I also suggest using an apron to kind of help keep your clothes from getting a nasty mess, because this stuff is very messy. I can't stress that enough. It's really messy, and you really need to kind of be prepared for the stuff to go all over the place. I think that's about it as far as supplies for acrylic pour painting. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye.